Sully here, the retired tanker yanker. Welcome to Transitions, my YouTube channel, and welcome to episode 6 in my series, So You Want to Be a Truck Driver. The topic of this video is things that you should and shouldn't do in your career as a driver. But before I start, I want to take this opportunity to welcome any and all new subscribers who are watching this video, and especially the people who are watching my channel for the first time. Welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and be sure to like, share, and comment. Just drop a comment below. That'll help my channel to grow. And suppose you're a small creator and you're looking to grow your channel. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I've tried sub for sub and it doesn't work. It's actually a violation of YouTube policy. And if somebody subscribes to your channel and you subscribe back, that sub is going to get bounced by the YouTube algorithm. They're just looking at it as sub for sub, and they don't work that way. What you need to do is watch this video all the way through, subscribe, hit the like button, drop a comment below. Doesn't have to be a fancy comment. Just say, hey Sully, how you doing? I enjoy your content. If you have anything you want me to address in these upcoming videos, leave it there. But do not ask for a sub in the comment, and do not leave a link in the comment. That's a sure way to get it bounced. What you can do if you want me to sub to your channel, you'll find my Gmail address in the channel description. Just send me a Gmail with a link to your channel. Don't ask to sub, because you got to remember, Gmail is Google as much as YouTube is Google. So just shoot me a link. I'll check your channel out, and I'll know what to do. So we have to do a little bit of a workaround here, people. Let's grow our channels, let's help each other, but let's do it the right way. Let's get down to business. You've been driving for a little while, and chances are you're going to start feeling discouraged, you're going to feel a little burnout, you're going to be rethinking your decision to become a truck driver. Trust me, I went through the same thing. And yet I stuck in there for 25 years, and if it wasn't for my screwed up back and kidney stones the size of shooter marbles, I'd still be out there driving. And loving it too. So driver, just stick with it, bite your lip, put your face into the wind, and hang with it. Don't let the frustrations of the job get you down. Just keep in mind that 90% of the people who graduated from driving school with you aren't going to stick with it. They're going to be out of this business within 5 years. You want to be the one that lasts. You want to be the one that makes this your career. And remember that this is a good career. It's something that we're always going to need. People are always going to need to eat. People are always going to need to wear clothes. There's always going to be a need for truck drivers. Even with the advent of autonomous trucks, they're still going to need somebody in the seat. You can refer to my driverless trucks video. Autonomy will probably make your job easier, but it will not eliminate the need for you. So don't worry about that. But there are times when things are just going to get to you. You're going to say, wow, this is tough. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Well, the law requires you to take that 30-minute break. Pull over. Take that 30-minute break and use the coping mechanisms that you've been developing throughout your life. Meditation is a good one. If you're devout, pray. For me, it was a power nap. 30 minutes, and I'm good for the day. Now, at the start of the day, I like to take about 30 minutes to meditate. I'm not saying meditation's for everybody, but you can download an app on your phone, and it will provide you with background or coaching or other ways for you to cope with the everyday stresses and strains of being a driver. So, you know, if it's getting to you, if you're really starting to feel the stress, call timeout. 30-minute break, power nap, meditation. Just shut the world out and get inside your own head. And I suggest that power nap, if you're tired, 30 minutes will do you a world of good. And studies indicate that a 30-minute power nap during the day is actually a good thing for your health and well-being. Now, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, there's always going to be that one person that just loves to argue. They're argumentative by nature, and they just want to engage you. Okay? You're also going to run into something that we like to call super truckers. You know, the guy that's perfect, that does everything right, and that super trucker is going to tell you everything you're doing wrong. Trouble with the super trucker is he or she fails to see what they're doing wrong, and it's very unprofessional to be a super trucker. A lot of these people are actually borderline psychotic. They might have ADHD, they might be bipolar. You know, this profession attracts psychotics for some reason. I really don't know why, but you're always going to run into that guy that has to get the last word no matter what. Now, when you run into this type, chances are it's going to be on the CB. We would refer to these types as CB Rambos. Okay? They know that if they piss you off enough that you might want to throttle them, you can't because they're invisible. They're just a voice coming out of your radio. So, I don't know how you plan on coping with this, but I had a great strategy for coping with CB Rambos. My radio had something called an on-off knob. Remember, it's not against the law to turn that CB off. And when you get out there long enough and you hear some of the garbage coming across there, you're going to probably turn your CB off more than you turn it on. There's another thing out there. You get guys that can't utter 3 words without dropping an F-bomb. Don't get into that habit, driver. First of all, it is illegal. Second of all, it's rude. It is rude. It's ignorant. And if you cannot complete a sentence without 2 or 3 F-bombs in it, I would question your education myself. And if you think you gotta come back to somebody, you gotta put them down because you need to save face, well, there was a wise man who lived in this country, lived in the 19th and the early 20th century. His name was Samuel Langhorne Clemens. He was a famous writer, and he wrote under the pen name of Mark Twain. He had a saying for situations like that. It is better to remain silent and be thought a fool than it is to open your mouth and remove all doubt. Okay? Discretion is the better part of valor, in other words. If somebody thinks that the only way they're going to win is get in the last word, let them win. In the long run, people will think better of you. They'll think you are the bigger person. But if you do have to confront these people, if these people are pushing your buttons until you get angry, you don't know what could happen. Now, you might get in an argument with somebody at a truck stop and he's going to get out of his truck and come towards you. Stay in your truck, driver. If you get out, that's road rage. Don't get out of your truck if somebody approaches it, especially if they have something in their hand. Because if they have something in their hand, that means they intend to use it. So, you should have something in your hand in the truck, and that thing is your telephone. Call 911. Okay? I mean, the last thing you want to do is wind up in jail because somebody wanted to engage you in a pissing contest. Don't be an instigator. Just walk away. It's the easiest and the safest thing to do. Hey, remember when you were going through orientation or when you were in truck driving school and they were teaching you the Smith system? Remember, get the big picture, keep your eyes moving, leave yourself an out, make sure they see you, aim high in steering. Well, apply those rules to your life. Get the big picture. Think about it. What's going to happen to me if I get into a pissing contest with a skunk? If I actually engage this idiot who has murder in his eye and wants to throttle me because I was driving 65 miles an hour and he wanted to go 70 miles an hour and didn't have enough brains to get in the left lane and pass me. Okay? Just avoid confrontation as much as you can. In the long run, you'll save yourself a world of grief. Something you should not do is get caught up in scams. I've talked about scams before. There was one I didn't mention, though, and it's probably the most common scam out there. You'll be at a truck stop, and some sad sack will come up to you and say, "Hey, listen, fella, I'm out of gas." and I have no money. Could you give me $20? I swear, if I had a nickel for every time somebody came to me with that line, I never would have had to drive a truck. It is so common. I mean, I was stopped somewhere on the Connecticut Turnpike. I was in a rest area, and no sooner did I stop when some guy comes driving up and says, "Hey, I need money for gas and I'm broke. Can you help me out?" And when I woke up that morning, I'm getting ready to leave. There's a guy knocking on my door. "Excuse me, sir. I don't mean to bother you. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm out of money. I've run out of gas. I can't get home. I just need $20. Okay? Driver, it's a scam. They're out hustling to you. I mean, some of them are great actors. You'll get a woman that'll come up to you in tears saying, "Oh my God, my grandchild is sick. I don't have the money to get to the hospital and I really need to see him." You know, just the easiest thing to do is say, "I'm sorry, but I am not in a position to help you." If they persist, call the police, because the cops are looking out for these scam artists all the time. I had some guy come up to me one time and he's giving me the sob story. "Oh, I'm out of gas. I don't have any money. I'm trying to go somewhere to get a new job and I got my family in the car." Well, dude, why did you leave your house if you didn't have enough money to put gas in your car to get to where you're going? Okay? That's what you have to think. Now, the person coming to you might be sincere. They might have run out of gas. They might be broke. You know, I'll make a joke out of it sometimes. I'll say, "Hey, you know something? This is the third time today that somebody mistook me for Bill Gates." The easiest way to handle it is to be diplomatic. Say, "Hey, I'm sorry for your situation, but I am not in a position to help you." But remember that scammers are attracted to truck drivers the way bears are attracted to honey. So be firm and hold on to your money. Now, your frustration level might get to the point where you just want to walk away. Park that truck and go home. That is absolutely the worst thing you can do. Because if you abandon your truck somewhere, first of all, you are still financially responsible for the load because you signed that bill of lading. When you sign that bill of lading, you are accepting responsibility for the load, and you are responsible for it until you take it to where it's going and somebody else signs off on it. That's the way it is. Now, if there's something about your job that is frustrating, maybe you're having trouble with your dispatcher, you're having trouble with the load planner, you're having trouble with a fellow driver. Every company out there has what's called an open door policy. So go up the line with your grievances until you get to the head honcho, the head man in charge, or head woman in charge. Got to be careful of my pronouns. It is 2019 after all. The fact of the matter is, not only are you financially responsible for the load, your company can sue you for the cost of recovering the vehicle. And there are companies out there that actually require you to post a bond, and it's like $500, so that if you abandon your truck somewhere, they use that to recover the truck. Okay, so if you have an issue, take advantage of your company's open door policy. Every company has an open door policy. And if you go all the way up the line and still can't get it resolved, go to the Department of Labor. Contact a lawyer. Do what you have to do. But don't abandon your truck because you planned on going home and your dispatcher said, "Hey, look, I got a hot load. I need you to do it." Okay? Put that one in the favor bank. Now, chances are, when you started out, you received a company handbook, and you were very likely required to sign a receipt for that company handbook. It states that you've read this handbook, you received it, you understand what it means, and you're signing a receipt that said that you received the company handbook. Never, ever, ever assume that the company handbook constitutes a contract. It is not a contract. It is guidelines. You will read a statement that says that policies outlined in this handbook can be changed at any time without notice, as is necessary for the conducting of an orderly business model. And it also will state that employment is at will for both parties and can be terminated at any time. Keep in mind that federal and state laws protect you. You cannot be fired unless it's for just cause. Now, the just cause could be outlined in there. Now, chances are you might be working for a union carrier, which means you have a collective bargaining agreement, which outlines pay, working conditions, grievance procedures, things like that. If you have a union, remember that you do have an advocate. That is your shop steward. And that your union also has lawyers. That if it becomes a legal issue, they'll handle it for you. That's why you pay dues. That's why you fork over 3 hours of pay every month that belong to the union. Now, your collective bargaining agreement will remain in effect after it terminates, but the only difference is now the union reserves the right to go on strike. Keep in mind that a strike is an action of desperation and an act of final recourse. I worked for a company where we went 18 months without a contract. They had to abide by the CBA, but there was always the threat that if we thought the negotiations weren't going well, we would walk out. It generally works out for the good, driver, so just remember that if you are a union driver, the odds of you going on strike are very, very slim. Now, suppose you work for a company where the drivers are getting together and saying, you know what, we've been getting the short end of the stick, they keep nickel and diming us here, they keep cutting this, they keep playing games with that. Maybe if we got together and organized the union. Keep in mind that no organization activity can take place on company property. But you cannot be retaliated against for participating in organization activity. I've been there. They really have to watch their steps. I mean, in the company I worked for, a fellow was basically terminated for, I mean, they found like some chicken dung reason for firing him, and it wasn't just cause, and he had to be reinstated with full back pay. And so the company stopped jerking around with drivers who were working to organize the union. There will be a fair and binding election, and everybody will have their chance. So, I'm not saying you should join a union, I'm not saying you should try to organize a union, I'm just saying that if the company treats you right and treats you on the square, there's no need for a union. And remember, they do have to treat you with respect and dignity. That's just your due as a human being. Another thing you have to do is be punctual. On-time performance is monitored by your customers, and your continued success is based on being on time. No customer is going to want to engage a carrier who doesn't know how to tell time. Okay, your appointment was for 0400. You showed up at 0700. Or your appointment was for 1500. You showed up at 1900. By the same token, your pickup appointment is 1000. You showed up at 0500. What are you doing here 5 hours early? Be punctual. The window that I always like to use, the time frame, was 30 minutes. Some places, if you show up early, they say, well, we're not busy right now, we'll take you. Okay. You'll get to know the places that'll take you early. You'll also get to know the places that jerk you around and make you wait. You show up on time for your appointment and they'll make you wait. Be sure to document that. I mean, every truck now has electronic logging. They also have GPS, so they get a ping when you arrive at a shipper or a consignee. So they can say, well, this guy showed up at 10 o'clock. The boss says, yeah, well, we got a ping on his GPS saying he showed up at 7 o'clock. See, you got them. But if you're late, they got you. So, just be punctual. And just remember that if you are late through no reason of your own, let your dispatcher handle it. Let your driver manager handle it. Let the load planner handle it. Let some higher up handle it. Customer doesn't want to hear excuses. Okay? But it is a good idea if you're going to be late to give the customer a heads up. Hey, listen, I had a 10 o'clock appointment. Big truck flipped over on the road. I was stuck behind it for 2 hours. They'll say, okay, when can you be here? Well, noon. Okay, we'll look for you then. A lot of times that's all it takes. But always call your dispatcher first. Let them handle it if possible. Okay, now, welcome to the year 2019. There is a reality in this country that's been going on for more than a few years now. And that is called the active shooter situation. It's unlikely that you will encounter it, but your company should be training you what to happen. This is the manual that Highway Transport gave us for our active shooter training. And it's usually part of orientation. I had to go through orientation twice because I did take a leave of absence. But these manuals are very useful. Now, chances are you'll go through this and the person conducting the orientation will probably show you a video or at very least a PowerPoint presentation. But it's a sad fact that we have to be prepared for an active shooter situation. Okay? So pay close and careful attention to active shooter training. Now, if you find yourself in a situation, the smartest thing to do, the most common sense thing to do is run. Get away. Find a safe place and hide. Take action to protect others if you can, but save your own rear end first. Okay? Contact the police if you have a phone. Otherwise, shut your phone off, be quiet. Don't let that active shooter know where you are if you're hiding. Okay? And above all, don't try to be a hero. It is not your job to take down the shooter. That's what the police are there for. Call the police. Tell them, hey, I'm at such and such a place. There's a guy with a gun. He shot some people, or I've heard shots fired. I'm taking shelter here in this room in the building here. Just let the police handle it. Let them do their job. Stay alive. I don't know how old you are, but when I was in grade school, first or second grade, we had duck and cover because we were afraid that the Russians were going to drop the bomb on us. That was a reality of being in elementary school in the 60s. Okay? So, make sure your cell phone is turned off after you contact the police. If you got anything in your hands, when the police say it's time to evacuate, drop anything you have, your jacket, your phone, whatever. Those things can be replaced. The police will ask you to evacuate quickly, orderly. They'll ask you to hold your hands up and spread your fingers. Make sure you're doing that as you're leaving, so that they know that you're not a shooter, you don't have a weapon. Okay? In any situation, when you have to deal with the police, do what they tell you. I mean, we hear about police shootings. Well, this guy didn't do nothing. Well, the police said, stand still, let me see your hands. Why? Now, if a police officer is holding a gun at you and says, let me see your hands. There they are, officer. Follow the instructions of police. If the police tell you to get on the ground, get on the ground. Okay? Don't sit there and say, I don't have to do what you're telling me. A lot of people were shot by mistake because they failed to obey police instructions, and especially in a live shooter situation. Okay? Live shooting situations are rare and unpredictable, but they happen. Best thing you can do is remain calm. Make sure you concentrate on your driving out there. Okay? You're a professional. You're held to a higher standard. There's already a very, very negative perception of truck drivers in this country. Okay? We all know that truck drivers are far safer than the motoring public at large, okay? There are idiots out there who drive recklessly, though. And those are the ones that people remember. The cowboy, the guy that has to stay in the left lane, the guy that's swerving, the guy that's making unpredictable lane changes, not signaling lane changes, tailgating all. Don't tailgate. Don't make lane changes without signaling. Obey speed limits. Don't hang out in the hammer lane, driver. Okay? The general public is not going to remember the driver who stopped and changed their tire, or that helped get their car off the road when it broke down and was stuck out on the travel portion of the highway. They're going to remember that driver who was tailgating them, jerked over, passed them, cut back over. That's what they're going to remember. Okay? And never drive impaired either. Okay? I don't necessarily mean alcohol or recreational drugs, but more to the point, know the side effects of any prescription medication that you take. And above all, know when you're not fit to drive. Because a lot of drivers say, well, I don't feel that hot, but I can tough it out. Trust me. I made that call one day. I said, well, I got about 550 miles to get home from Toronto. I know I'm feeling pretty bad. I had been sick for a while. I did not know exactly how sick I was until the doctor called me and said, get to a hospital. Get to an emergency room. You are sick. I had had blood drawn a couple days earlier. And I said, well, I'm going to just try to go as far as I can. And I finally reached the point where I knew I couldn't go any further. I called 911, an ambulance took me to the hospital, and I never drove a big truck again. Okay? And the fact of the matter is, I was told in the emergency room that I actually expired for a minute while they were inserting a stent in my kidney. And the doctor took me aside and said, you know, you really, really, really came that close to dying. Forever. I mean, we were able to revive you, but you're very sick. Came that close to checking out. Know when you're not fit to drive. It's like they used to say, know when to say when? Well, know when to say when. If you're not fit to drive, you're not allowed to drive by law. But it's your call. And I have heard more stories about dispatchers being fired because the driver says, hey, look, I'm really feeling sick. I better get to a hospital. What are you, some kind of a sissy? What, you're not half a man? You can't drive? They'll try to shame you into driving. They'll try to play on your guilt. You know your body. You know when you're fit and when you're not fit. Okay? So I stopped driving, and I'm glad I did, because while that hospitalization was what began the forced retirement that I'm living these days, it's by knowing that I had reached a point where I couldn't go any further. I'm not happy that my driving career ended, but at least I'm here to tell you about it. Well, it's just water, by the way. If I was going to make a video that included everything you should or shouldn't do, I could probably be here for days. But I'm going to let it end here. And if I think of anything else, I'll make a video out of it. I'll let you know. So, thanks for viewing. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you're a creator and you want me to subscribe to your channel, don't put a link in the comments. Gmail the link to me. Don't ask for a sub in the comments, because we'll lose each other's subscription. That's just the way YouTube works. Okay, but do comment, and please subscribe, like, and share these videos. For Transitions, this is Sully, the retired tanker yanker, saying safe and happy travels.